We are coming to the nitty-gritty of the problem. Yeah. Why all this? Why all this? You see, that is what she has been asking, insisting for the answer. And of course, Narada has come fully prepared to answer all these questions. And we have seen last time how, in various details, she surveys the issue and then pinpoints her questions. And it is those questions which Narad has to answer first before he proceeds further. But okay, let's quickly see what she is asking him, Narad. First thing is, why is it all and where from are we here? Well, that is the basic question. What is the fun in this creation? Is there any purpose? Is there any joy? Is there any objective in achieving something? Is there any at all, you see? If to some being of eternal bliss, it is our spirit's destiny to return, or some still impersonal height of endless calm, since that we are, and out of that we came, since that we are, and out of that we came. Whence rose a strange and sterile interlude, lasting in vain to interminable time? It's a very pertinent question. If God is all, God is in all, we are all in God. I am paraphrasing St. John, basically. God is in all, God is all, and we are all in God. Then, why? Why this interminable interlude? That is the question, you see. In fact, since that we are and out of that we came, it is the echo of the Taittiriya Upanishad. This line is an echo of the Taittiriya Upanishad. From Ananda we come, in Ananda we live, to Ananda we return. We have come from Ananda, we live in Ananda, to Ananda we return. If it is all Ananda, happiness, bliss, joy, then why all this? That is the quintessence of her question, you see. Or if these beings must be and their brief lives, what need had the soul of ignorance and tears? The soul has a need, as if, of this suffering and misery and this anguish. What is the need of the soul? Why soul wants all that? What is it that he wants to experience and gain from that experience? If it is going to be some kind of a gain for the soul, then let me know. Perhaps in that case, I am willing to suffer. If the soul in the long run is going to gain something out of the present suffering, then all that suffering is worthwhile, is serving a purpose. Let me know what that thing you say. I am not aware of it. Whence rose the call for sorrow and for pain? Yes, it is we who have called for sorrow and pain. Or all came helplessly without a cause. If I not call them, they just entered into life. Why? So she is pinpointing now each and every question, you see. What power forced the immortal spirit to birth? The spirit is free, and is there a power which can force that free spirit? Is the freedom of the spirit contingent freedom, dependent upon something, that something else can come and overpower it? Is there a greater power than the spirit, of which we are not aware? And because of that greater power, all these things of suffering are happening here. What power forced? She says forced the spirit. helpless. It stood helpless against that power. The eternal witness, once in of eternity, a deathless sojourner, mid transient scene, he camps in life's half-lit obscurity amid the debris of his thoughts and dreams. This is what he lives here around. You see. What a powerful statement is this. Amid the debris of thoughts and dreams. See. Or who persuaded it to fall from bliss? It. Who persuaded it to fall from bliss? Spirit. She's speaking of the spirit. Immortal spirit, was it persuaded? If it didn't fall, was it persuaded? Fall from bliss. And forfeit his immortal privilege that it had to give for some purpose. You see. Who laid on it the ceaseless will to live, a wanderer in this beautiful, sorrowful world, and bear its load of joy and grief and love? Who? Or if no being watches the works of time, if there is none who has done that thing, if there is no Sakshi, she says witness, no? Eternal witness, Sakshi, just a witness. He is a witness. So she says here, who laid on it ceaseless will to live, a wanderer, or if no being watches, because that witness is there, therefore watches. Yeah, that watches. The works of time, what hard impersonal necessity compels the vain toil of brief living thing. So again, she is going back to the starting question she had put, chance, necessity, free will. Is it that due to necessity it has happened? If it is not all that, then surely it is a great illusion. It is all Maya, Mithya. It is all Maya. This whole world is Maya, Mithya. And the best solution for you lies in walking away from this world. You are living in a dream, walk away from the dream and live in the reality of the supreme reality. Brahman alone is true. The whole world is illusion. That is what Shankara says. She is talking about Shankara now, you see. But where then is the soul's security? If the whole thing, even if the spirit can get overpowered by some power and collapses, falls, then what is the security of the soul? If the spirit itself can get fall, then what is the security of the soul? It's poised in the circling, unreal suns. Circling, unreal sun, because it's an illusion. Circling, chakra, kala chakra, in the wheel of time. That is what it means. Circling here stands for kala chakra. You keep on revolving again and again in the same rut movement. Birth, death, birth, death, goes on like that. Circling, unreal sun. Or else it is a wanderer from its home who strayed into a blind alley of time and chance and finds no issue from a meaningless world. So the poor helpless soul is wandering, and there is no object in front of it, no goal, no destination available for it, you see. Or where begins and ends the illusion? If God is all, Brahman is all, and illusion is a part of that Brahman, then in the totality of Brahman, where does illusion stand? Is it here or is it here? Does it begin here and end here? Like that. She is asking that question. She is very scientific, methodical. See. Perhaps the soul we feel is only a dream. So ultimately, the soul itself becomes a dream, an illusion, a fiction. We call something with their psychic being. We don't know. It's all perhaps the soul we feel is only a dream. Eternal self, a fiction sensed in trance. Some kind of self-absorption is there, and in the self-absorption, what do we see? the self is nothing but a fiction. So these are the basic questions this lady is asking to the sage. She is voicing the earth's concern, the human concern. This is a question which occurs to all of us. Why? Constantly. Why do all that? I mean, there are all kinds of theories, all kinds of recommendations made. Life is brief, enjoy, forget. You don't care about what happens tomorrow, etc. Who bothers about it? The moment is important, you enjoy it and proceed. Then there are other like that. It goes on, you see. So all these questions keep on haunting us if we are a little alert about these matters, you see. And she found the presence of Narad very significant to get answer to the basic issues. He has come all the way from heaven. He is in the palace. So she is exploiting the occasion of his presence and raising all these questions, you see. She's, I mean, none of these questions are finally going to really solve the problem which she is facing. Tomorrow, her daughter's husband is going to die. He may answer all these 1,000 questions in 1,000 ways, but that is something which is not going to satisfy her. It is only sort of placating the mind's disturbance. Her mind, she is in a disturbed state. She is passionate like sorrow. It is only to satisfy that aspect that she is asking, and she is asking the answer. And Narad knows that also. See. So, it is in response to that we have the whole big speech by Narad. Maybe he is speaking for 1.5 hours, 2 hours, answering all the aspects. He has raised all these issues and they cannot be disposed of in a short session like that, you see. And of course, he is given the full rope. Go ahead and speak out whatever you want to speak, you see. And these people, the royal host, they are attentive to everything which he is uttering, which is telling, you see. They are attentive to all that. Then, after a silence, Narad made a reply. After a silence, Narad made a reply. After a silence, she has spoken maybe for 20, 25, half an hour or something like that, all that thing. Narad keeps quiet for a few minutes, maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes. He doesn't immediately come out with the answer, as if he is looking for the answer. The answers are ready in him, but he is not coming out immediately with the answers. After a silence, he says, he is purposely, deliberately holding back the answer for a while. Why? He knows that Savitri's mother is in a terribly disturbed state of mind. And he would like her to kind of get quietened down, so that what he is going to say, she may be able to absorb and receive something out of that. So he allows a psychological break in the whole thing. He keeps quiet, silent, and the silence is a diffusive silence. It spreads peace. The disturbance which is there all around because of her, that gets settled down. And in that silence, he is in fact spreading his peace all around. And in that peace, then the real answer comes. So basically, it is psychologically important. It is, in the terms of occult working, more important. By keeping silence, all which was disturbed is kind of allowed to settle down, and the peace pervades. And when the peace pervades, then the real response can come from that, you see. So he is allowing that silence purposely, you see. Now this line is a wonderful line. Then after a silence, Narad made reply. See, that is the art of poetry. And you can see the full power of poetic art in this line. See, normal poet, an ordinary poet would have simply said, Then after a silence, Narad replied. He would not have said made reply. He would not have said made reply. He would have simply said reply. Narad replied. Now you see, I mean, metrically that line is also acceptable. Then after a silence, Narad made reply is one. Then after a silence, Narad replied. You can see immediately the force which is there, this made reply, is totally gone in replied. It becomes too prosaic. It becomes too prosaic at once, you see. The force which is putting there by that time made, that is the kind of art of the accomplished poet, you see, made reply. It's a very unusual phrase, but that is how it brings out the force of the whole expression, you see. In fact, I have done the scanning of this line. So, by the way, yeah, let me read that. From that we came, to that we go. It is Anando Brahmeti Vajanad Anandas Deva Kalyani Bhutani Jayante Anandena Jatani Jivanti Anandam Prenta Visamishantoji. That is how the Vishya Upanishad, the Taittiriya Upanishad, that we have come from Ananda. He knew bliss for the eternal. For from bliss alone it appears. Are these creatures born and begin born? They live by bliss, and to bliss they go hence and return. That is what the Taittiriya Upanishad, this is what she has paraphrased in that phrase. Now here, then after the silence, Narad made reply. This line will, then after means, see, then after a sigh, you see, the break will be like that. First foot is here. Second foot is here. Third foot is here. Fourth foot is here. And fifth foot is here. That is the iambic. In other words, the first foot is an iamb, second foot is an anapest, short, long. Third foot is again an iamb, fourth is an iamb, fifth also is an iamb. Basically, it is that construction in this line. Now, if you don't put that made, still it scans well. It will scan like this now. See, if you put it like that without made, then after a silent, na reply. See, what this means is, first foot is an iamb, after is a Pyrrhic, silence is a trochee, long short. Silence, Narad is again a trochee. Reply is also a trochee. In other words, in this formation, you get three consecutive trochees. Long, short, basically you see. Now, that is a bad poetic technique. Particularly following a Pyrrhic. It is mean the rhythm doesn't flow easily in that case. The reason to avoid that trochee business, so to say, he has put mid. He put that. So the poetic art is very rich in Savitri. Each little nuance is important there. You see, you wrote in the line. You see. So that made is extremely significant. I will say. Not only from the poetic point of view, but also because the force with which the reply comes out, made reply. Simply reply doesn't carry that force. You see. Then he said, then after a silence, Narad made reply. Tuning his lips to earthly sound, he spoke. and something now of the deep sense of weight weighted the fragile hands of mortal speech. It's a very powerful introduction to Narada's speech by the poet. First he says, tuning his lips to earthly sound. Narada is a heavenly sage. He will sing always the celestial song of heaven. But now he is talking here to human beings, to the mortal. He has to speak in their language. He has to tune his speech to their mode of understanding and listening, that kind of a thing. He cannot sing the heavenly song here. He has to sing their song, you see, and yet convey his meaning, you see. Tuning is a very powerful word. Tuning his lips to earthly sound. Again he says earthly. He is not a celestial being now. He is speaking to the human beings. Earthly sound. He spoke. And while he is speaking, something now, the deep sense of fate. That is what is emerging out. Why this fate is working here? Why Satyavan has to die? What is the raison d'etre of this death? Something of that he is going to reveal, he is going to tell. The full force which is there. Now, this is important. You see, I mean, how each word is powerful. Something. He says, Narad is speaking, tuning his lips to earthly sound. What will come out will be only something, not the full. What contents are there or there, they cannot get conveyed to them. Therefore, only a certain thing of that comes out in his speech, of deep sense of it. Full sense of it cannot emerge from it. Means what Narad is going to speak for 2 hours, only it is a deep sense of what is up there he is conveying here. In other words, if he has to speak for a longer time, maybe for a whole day, then a fuller sense might come. We don't know, you see. Something. The poet is very, very particular about all this. Each word is loaded in that sense, you see. Weighted the fragile hands of mortal speech. So after all, mortal speech is there, but it is now loaded with that deep sense of fate. What is the sense of fate? Why Satyavan has to die? In fact, he is not really answering by saying that. Narada is not really answering to all those 100 questions Savitri's mother has raised. He is least concerned about that. In a way, he is now revealing what that fate means here in this creation. He is taking that occasion of her questions to basically bring out the deep sense of fate. It is an occasion. He is sort of prompted, he is supplied that pretext to speak of the deep sense of fate. His forehead shone with vision, solemn eyes. He is now really a royal, a heavenly sage. Vision with solemn eye, turned to a tablet of supernal thoughts, as if characters of an unwritten tongue had left in its breath the inscriptions of the gods. So what a sweep again here. His forehead is now a tablet of vision. The whole inscription is there on that thing, you see. Turn to a tablet of supernal thoughts. He is seeing now something up there, supernal thoughts. And seeing as if the characters of an unwritten tongue. Characters of an unwritten tongue. What Narad is going to speak will be only what can be conveyed in our written tongue. But basically behind that is the entire knowledge and the content of the unwritten tongue. Of the unwritten tongue. What he is going to convey, that deep sense of fate which he is going to say, that deep sense of fate he is going to speak because of something which has been written by some other tongue. By some other tongue, you see, other language. Now, in other words, that deep sense of fate actually is something of the divine knowledge. That unwritten tongue, the supramental language, it is of that supramental language what can be conveyed here in the mortal tongue, that is conveyed. We are not ready, we don't have instruments to express that knowledge here. And what is conveyed is only in the human language, in the human form, that you see. Unwritten tongue is the supreme, means the whole script is there, entire knowledge is there. He has seen it on his forehead shining like that, and he's kind of reading it out. He is not thinking and answering. He is not thinking. He is not analyzing all the questions which this lady has put. He is simply saying, yes, I come here not to answer you. I come here to reveal the deep sense of fate. And that deep sense of fate is written in an unwritten tongue. That deep sense of fate is written in an unwritten tongue. And that is what he is going to tell. Had left in its breadth the inscriptions of the gods. So these are the inscriptions of the gods on the tablet. And it is those he is going to read out here. Bear in that light, because his forehead is shining that Solomonite vision. Forehead. So bear in that light, time toiled. He sees now the deep sense of fate working in time. Time toil. His unseen works detected. His unseen works detected. Bear in that light, time toil. His stands here for time. It is the work of time which is detected. Who has detected that? Narad. In the moments of time, what is going to happen, this man has detected. Narad. Bear in that light, because now that vision is shining, so in that light, he is detecting the works of time. Time, yes, this has to happen like this. In the course of time, this event must take place. Satyavan must die. That he has detected. That event he has detected in the working of time. And he is going to speak about that. The broad, far-flung, sings, the broad-flung, far-seeing scheme, unfinished, which his aeon flight unrolls. His again stands for times. Times, aeon flight unroll were mapped already in that worldwide look. Mapped already in Narad's look. He has already seen the whole thing, the whole map of time, how the time is moved. Why it has to move like that? He has suddenly seen that thing. He is not analyzing step by step and reasoning like that. He has got the full picture in front of him, and he is sort of unrolling what is inscribed in detail out there. Because he has detected the moments of time. He uses the word detected. In other words, only very exceptional beings can detect what can happen in time. Why this should happen, why this should happen, and be perceptive and express that things. Detect it. That is the capacity of Narad. His stature, his understanding, his depth of knowledge is that to see. And he sees, yes, time is rolling. He is observing the moment of time, and suddenly he sees this. Why this event should occur? It's very clear to him immediately. Is immediately clear to him. So, in other words, in the entire process of time, this event of death is important. He has picked up that moment. He has rushed from his Vaikuntha paradise to Ashwapati's palace, and he is going to tell Savitri basically what is going to happen here. Savitri cannot detect that. Even Ashwapati does not detect that. He simply sees a shadow floating over his name, chased by stupendous light. But exactly what is going to happen, that detection is not there. That is the capacity which comes from Narada. And he says, passing unfinished. Time is rolling on, has to go on. And this detection of this particular event would mean that this is going to be finished. What has been happening until now? Unfinished, until now it was there. It is now going to be finished. A new thing has to start from there. A new time has to start here. Now this is basically time toil. He is working as an agent or what you want to call it, Kala. And his movement is there all the while, trying to bring out the dynamism of eternity in the earthly occurrences. That is the time, is toiling for that. So the result of that time's toiling is going to be the death of Satyavan. The fruit of that toil of time is Satyavan's death. Time will be happy to see that this death occurs, because from that point onward, the real thing will start. So the time is toiling, waiting for this thing to happen, you see. And this Narada has detected, you see. Actually, this passage is basically the same thing which Shravandu wrote in the first draft of Savitri in 1916. This thing is exactly what he had written in 1916, you see. A few small verbal changes are there, but basically this is there already in 1916, and during that period all his yogic realizations he has put in Record of Yoga. And in Record of Yoga, he constantly keeps on speaking of Trikala Drishti, division of three divisions of time, Trikala Drishti. It is that Trikala Drishti which Narad has. He sees the past, he sees the present, he sees the future. The entire knowledge of time and the toiling is there in front of him. And it is that which is now expressed here. So basically you can really see the entire force of Record of Yoga getting, in a way, quintessenced in these small descriptions of 3 sentences. In these 3 sentences, he has brought the whole of Record of Yoga, basically, you see here. All that things. In the 1916 draft, you can see the quality of poetry. See, here it begins, then after a silence, Narad made reply. The draft at that time begins, but Narad now, the seer, lifted his voice. You can see the enormous poetic content which has changed between that draft and this line. This line, then after a silence, Narad made reply. This line and that line, but Narad now, the seer, lifted his voice. It's not the same thing. It is not the same thing. Sri Aurobindo has said, I have been using Savitri as a means of ascension, of climbing up, climbing up. And that is what you see in that line and the 1916 line. But Narad now, this year, lifted his voice. Well, poetically, it's not a bad line at all. It is a very good line. But the yogic force which is here is not present here. In other words, between this line of 1916 and this line of 1946, roughly about that time, there is a span of 30 years, and all the force of those 30 years is what you see bringing out that change from this line to that line. That yogic force of those 30 years is that is what he means by this means of ascension. I use Savitri as a means of ascension, you see. Means of ascension. From 1916, but Narad now this year lifted his voice to then, after a silence, Narad made reply. You can see the entire yogic occult force which has been kind of pushed into the expression of Savitri, you see. In fact, basically after this, the second line is turning on her the rapt celestial eyes. See, you got turn to a tablet of supernal thoughts, no? What we had in the 1916 was turning on her the rapt celestial eyes. Narad is looking at Savitri, turning his eyes to her. Here, turn to the tablet of supernal thoughts. You see, he is not looking at Savitri, you see. In the earlier draft and this draft, you can see the difference in expression. Turning on her the rapt celestial eye, bare whose gaze time toils, bare whose gaze time toils. His unseen was detected. This phrase is there. His unseen was detected is there in the earlier draft. But this line, bare in that light time toil, is a totally different kind of yogic poetry than bare to whose gaze time toils. You see the difference between the two. So that is what Sri Aurobindo means, that he has used Savitri as a means of ascension. As far as the expression is concerned, poetically this is also perfectly very good, wonderful. But this is a different poetry altogether. The yogic force which is there, that is what Savitri, latest version of Savitri really means, basically, you see. Now, he is asking a rhetorical question. In answer, now he is coming back because he has turned his to earthly sound, no? His lips to earthly sound. His immediate concern is that he is now kind of obliged to answer what the queen had asked him. And therefore he says, was then the sun a dream because there is night? He is asking a rhetorical question. Was then the sun a dream because there is night? You are living in darkness here. Does it mean that there is no light there? There is no light there. You are in grief and misery and suffering. Does it mean that there is no bliss, eternal bliss? That is what it means, basically. Was then the sun a dream because it is night? See, that's the rhythm. Was then the sun a dream because it is night? See, that's the rhythm which goes on, you see. Was then, this is an I am. First thing is an I am. Second thing is also an I am. Third thing is also an I am. Because is also an I am. The third one is there is night and anapes. It kind of takes it further up. Short, short, long. All the 4 feet are short, long, short, long, short, long, short, long, short, short, long. You see. And practically this line is a monosyllabic line. Monosyllabic line, practically, except that because was then the sun, the dream caused this night, see, which makes monosyllabic lines have the power to put entire force of thought in it. Constantly. You kind of hammer it out. Hammer it out. The hammer bit is there in the monosyllabic lines, and that is what he is using. He is really using a hammer stroke. Was then the sun a dream because this night? He is asking that lady. He is really hammering her, you see. In this, yeah, yeah, see. For then the sun a dream because this night, hidden in the mortal's heart, eternal lives. You don't see him. It does not mean that he is not there. That is your problem of not seeing him, but does not mean that he is not there. Hidden in the mortal's heart, the eternal lives. He lives secret in the chamber of thy soul. A light shine there, nor pain, nor grief can cross. So when you are in that secret chamber of the soul, when you are in that chamber of the soul, then in the chamber of the soul, neither pain nor grief can enter in. It is a light which does not allow the darkness of pain and grief to enter it. Such is the glory of that chamber. It does not allow the darkness of pain and grief to enter in that, you see. A darkness stands between thyself and him. Thou canst not hear or feel the marvelous gist. He is sitting there in the chamber of your heart, in your soul. He is there. You cannot hear him, you cannot feel him. That is not his fault, it is your fault. You see. Thou canst not see the beatific sun. He is there, burning bright in the night. Was there no sun because there is night? He is there. You are living in the darkness, it does not mean that he is not there. And then he is summarizing the entire argument of the queen in one single sentence, in one single line. O queen, that thought is the light of the ignorance. All that you have been talking all along for half an hour or 1 hour, whatever it is only out of ignorance you're talking. It is the light of ignorance. Your best lamp is ignorance. That is not the full knowledge. It was asking. Your best lamp is ignorance. What is the lamp? Mind. Mind is an instrument of ignorance. Your question is a question of a mind. And because it is an instrument of ignorance, therefore, it is all that ignorance you are talking about. In other words, he is simply telling, in the colloquial language, to the queen, you are an ignorant creature. You don't know anything. You are a silly, ignorant creature. You see, this is what basically is saying, you see. And it is true, because what your arguments are there. Now, what it means is that as long as those questions are asked in ignorance, the answers which will come from that level, the answers which will come, will also be the answers of ignorance. Therefore, all those 100 alternatives which she has given, any answer to that is a correct answer, but that is an answer in ignorance. Is this world an illusion? Yes, it is an illusion. Is this world a fiction? Yes, it is a fiction. Is it a dream? Yes, it is a dream. They are all correct answers in the world of ignorance. They don't have the truth content in them. Therefore, when Savitri's mother is asking those questions, you can give any answer. I had given the homework last time. So, whatever answers we are going to give to those questions will be answers of ignorance, which means that in our world, all those answers are valid answers. To those questions, you give an answer, he gives an answer, she gives an answer, he gives an answer like that. All those answers are valid answers, but they're all answers of ignorance. That's an answer of ignorance. That's what we are. You see.
We don't have more for the moment.
That is what we are, you see. So, in other words, basically what he is trying to tell her is simply this fact. My dear lady, you get out of ignorance. This is what he is simply asking her. And you will get answer. I don't have to give the answer then. You will get the answer, you see, automatically. That is what it means basically. She has asked those questions. He has already, in fact, answered all her questions. And every answer in the domain of ignorance is a valid answer. For a given situation, we can argue in different manners. And each argument is a valid argument. Each argument could be a valid argument. But they have no validity. What comes is not in the domain of mind then. The validity does not come in our world due to mind. It comes due to the life force. If you are given 10 alternatives, all alternatives are logically acceptable. Finally, you have to choose one of them. You choose this, or you choose this, or you choose this, or you choose. On what basis you choose them? Not by reason. Because all of them are completely acceptable arguments. You choose by the life instinct. It is the life force which takes you this way, or that way, or that way, or that way, see. Something else interesting here. Its brilliant curtain hides from the God's face. It means ignorance's brilliant curtain. Now this is a lovely oxymoron, you see. It's a curtain and a brilliant curtain. It's a shining curtain. Ignorance is a shining curtain. It has been purposely made, so to say, to hide the face of God from you, because you have to discover it. You have to remove this brilliant curtain. You have to remove the brilliant and discover God's face. It illumines a world born from the inconscious. It, of course, again, that ignorance. It illumines a world born from inconscience. Now that is the tremendous gain which has been made over inconscience. In other words, from total inconscience, the arrival of ignorance is a very, very major evolutionary step. A very, very major evolutionary step. Evolution has advanced ignorance. Ignorance is a fruitful thing in the world of inconscience. Otherwise, inconscience would not have changed. It is allowed to happen. So it is definitely playing a kind of a positive role in making advances in the field of inconscience. Progress is possible because of that. But hide the immortal's meaning, obviously, it is ignorance. Therefore, what the immortal's meaning is there, that ignorance will not be in a position to understand. Yes.
I thought it's a light of the ignorance. So the brilliant curtain, it's of the soul. For me, I understood like this. The curtain, it's the curtain of the soul, of the mantle, not of the ignorance. But
From
of
came
course,
from that soul.
no?
Came from the soul.
Thought, it's here.
Came
No?
soul.
Sorry?
Soul, no? You are talking about soul.
No, thought. How do you say
Thought.
it?
Thought.
Thought.
Yeah. Oh, Queen. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Brilliant curtain.
The curtain is the thought who has the
Brilliant curtain, that is ignorance. Actually, thought is a relatively small product of ignorance. Ignorance is.
When he said it illumines a word, but he is speaking about the thought, the mental.
Yeah. Mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Obviously. Thy thought is a light. She is asking a question. Actually, thy thought is a light of the ignorance. This line, no? Basically. What is she doing? She is voicing the earth's question. Through thought, that is how she started. She is voicing the earth's question. Earth's question as seen by the mental being. The stage at which you are, that's the mental being. You have arrived at the stage of the mental manifestation. And it is mind now which is puzzled about all these things. And what is mind? Mind is an instrument of ignorance. Thy thought is the light of the ignorance. It is definitely giving some illumination, but it is a dark illumination. It is a dark illumination. Actually, you have to understand this way that ignorance is a very, very major advance over inconscience. Over inconscience. That is the important thing. How that has advance taken place, that evolutionary history, perhaps nobody knows. The mother also said that nobody was there to write it down. But it has taken place. The blind world force was constantly doing her work even in the inconscience. And out of that, she managed to bring out ignorance. That is, in fact, I would say, perhaps from ignorance to inconscience is a very, very major work than from matter to life, from life to mind, even from mind to supermind. It's a very major work she has done. How many millennia have passed? We have absolutely no idea of that, you see. But she has been doing it quietly, all the work, you see. But hide the immortal's meaning in the world, thy mind's light. Now he is making it very clear. Thy mind's light, you are a mental being. You see. Hides from thee the eternal thought. What is eternal thought? Eternal's mind. What is eternal's mind? Which thinks the supermind. The supermind. Your mind is hiding the supermind. How can it know? Thy heart's hopes hide from thee the eternal's will. See, he is now saying everything. Your mind, your heart, your body. Thy mind's light, thy heart's hopes, earth's joy is shut from thee, the physical, the immortal's bliss. Because this has happened, mind is shutting down the eternal's light, thought, heart is shutting down the eternal's will, the physical is not capable of holding the immortal's bliss. Because it is incapable of mind, life, matter, etc. Because they are incapable, there is the necessity of the dark force intruding. He has to play a negative role for positive advance. The dark intruding force, he has to make. Thence arose the need of a dark intruding God. The world's a dead teacher, the creator, pain. Why pain? Now he is answering that. Because your mind is shutting down the eternal thought, Your heart is shutting down the eternal's will. Your body is shutting down the eternal's bliss. Now, how can that go away? It is only by pain. Pain is a necessary thing here. Now he is going to sing, Narada is going to sing from here onward, the hymn of pain. Basically, it will be a hymn of pain he's going to sing. Why? The glory of, he's going to speak about that, the glory of pain. Because it is pain which has really, as an intruding God, enabled mind to look beyond itself, heart to look beyond itself, body to look beyond itself. Without that pain, it cannot progress further. It cannot get stuck there, you see. So the necessity of pain, he is essentially telling the necessity of pain. Pain is a necessity here. Where ignorance is, there suffering too must come. Now this is the aphoristic line. Where ignorance is, suffering too must come. What it means is that there is no question of suffering in the inconscience. Because it is inconscience, there is no sentience at all of any kind. So you don't feel even a pain or suffering or misery or happiness or joy. It is inconscience. It is inconscience. It is not there. So pain is not there. Pain comes later on when the advance is made to this stage of ignorance. So it's a good thing to have ignorance, a good thing to have some pain and grief, and let us cry. Grief is a cry of darkness to the light. Those who are alert enough, then they raise a cry for light. Your prayer is a cry for light, grief, because of grief. Actually, most of the time, our prayer is born of pain. Not spontaneously by itself. When you are happy and enjoying life, you forget about everything. No question of prayer also, see. See what happens normally, you see. Pain was the first born of the inconscience, which was the body's dumb original base. Body is born of inconscient matter, inconscient matter. Now he says pain was the first born. We have seen earlier, she had asked that question, tri-natured life, pain and joy. And then she also said that between pain and joy, the first to come out was pain. You see, first to come out was pain. Pain was the first born of the inconscience, which was the body's dumb original base. Already slept there, pain's subconscient shame, a shadow in a shadowy, tenebrous wound. This is the pity, this is our body's fate. Shadow, shadowy, tenebrous wound, that is our body, physical. And pain is a shadow in that, shadowy, tenebrous wound. It is born there. Till life shall move, it waits to wake and be. When life emerges, then that pain also comes out. You know that. Now, this is a wonderful line. In one call with joy came forth the dreadful power. So, the newborn baby fetus, kind of wrapped with a biological substance there, it is in that call both were born, joy and pain. When the fetus is about to emerge, take birth, at that point of time, joy and dreadful power for power. In other words, it is out of ignorance. When it enters into the phase of life, then simultaneously there is pain and joy. In life's breast, it was born hiding its twin. You see, pain was born hiding its twin. You see, but pain came first. Then only joy could be. It is impossible without pain, the joy. Pain plowed the first hard ground of the world round. So everything was listless, lifeless, without any movement, without any activity. And if something had to start in terms of activity, etc., etc., you have to make furrows. And in those furrows, plowed hard ground, pain was that cast at that point. By pain, a spirit started from the clot. By pain, life stirred in subliminal deep. Subliminal deep. It is not subconscious, it is subliminal, below the threshold of our understanding. Inner mental, inner vital, inner physical. It is that which constitutes the subliminal, the inner. It is not the subconscious, it is the inner mental, inner vital, inner physical. And it is there that the pain was stirred. In turn, so it was confined there. It was kind of bound there. In turn, submerged, hidden in matter's trance, avowed to itself the dreamer, sleeping mind. That is how the birth of mind has taken place there. Out of that, it made a visible realm out of his dreams. It drew shapes from the subconscious depths. So all that was below there, it put up and came into the subliminal. And then this thing happened. It drew shapes from the subconscious, then turned to look upon the world it had made. Because mind is born, now mind is looking around and asking these questions. Is this your God who has made this world? See, this is what he's asking. By pain and joy, the bright and tenebrous twin. Pain and joy. Now, of course, bright does not stand for pain, and tenebrous twin, tenebrous from joy. It is the other way around, you see. See, poetically, this is how it is required, but in terms of this sense, logical sense, it should be by pain and joy, the tenebrous and bright twins, you see. But that is very bad poetry, you see. That is very bad poetry, you see.
It's what?
It will be very bad poetry. If you read by pain and joy, the tenebrous and bright twins, it's a very bad poetry.
So it's only poetry purpose?
For the poetry purposes, yeah. It is not for logical purposes.
No, it can be for something else also.
Such as?
Both the pain and the joy, they can be in the same time brilliant and tenebrous.
They can be?
Both, they can be brilliant, bright and tenebrous.
No, even the pain is bright and brilliant.
It can be.
Okay, and joy can be tenebrous.
Pain and joy can be in the same time bright and tenebrous. Both.
Pain.
Why not?
See, normally you would associate something joyous. Yeah, they are twins. Yeah. So you are not able to distinguish between the twins. You are not able to distinguish between the yes.
There is one Ananda, Raudrananda.
First,
Raudrananda in mythology. Raudrananda transformed pain in Ananda, in bliss.
You see?
So they basically
That's on a certain level, but not on mind level, not in conscious level.
just
Not on that level.
yeah, but that is a good reference. Yeah, but what Ananda is?
Raudrananda.
Raudra. No, but Raudra is forceful, fierce, powerful like that. Raudra is the quality of dynamism. Raudran, which is not static, which is not listless.
But there are many references in the record of yoga about pain becoming bliss.
That's okay. Yeah, that is possible. That is all right. But Raudra stands for the forceful, fierce. Yeah,
Raudra,
yeah,
no?
yeah. Rudra, from Rudra. Yeah, yeah. Raudra.
I will check.
Yeah,
I will check the name.
yeah. No, but here, I mean, this is from the point of poetry. Pain and joy. If you want to see grammatically, it should be pain and joy, tenebrous and bright. In terms of the French precision of language. But poetry allows that. The inanimate world perceived is sentient soul. Because of pain, obviously things have advanced. We are able to perceive sentient soul. Else had the inconscient never suffered change. That is the great thing which pain has done. That is the merit of pain. Otherwise, inconscience would have remained inconscious, listless, without any activity, without any movement at all. You have to accept, in other words, over inconscience. Pain is a tremendous advance.
If you see, I mean, what's happening right now, looking at reality and our present reality, I mean, you look in Syria, you look at the war zones, you look at whatever is happening, all that pain, that there is no other way but millions and millions of people deeply just into suffering their whole life. This is terrible.
Yeah.
Why is there no other way to change? Why is this?
You see, no, you see what it means. Yeah.
TV, you see the Syrian people now. I mean, it's you cannot even.
No, what it means is that basically, yeah. No, I mean, people are suffering, there is pain, all those things are there. Why? Because we are identifying ourselves
Of course.
with their pain.
Yeah, of course.
Therefore, we feel everywhere pain.
Yeah, I mean, you look at
We are not identifying with the joy which could be behind that.
but look at the women in Afghanistan. What do they have to go through? It's incredible. It's incredible. No. I don't think. I don't think one can say that people in those countries, in those situations, enjoy suffering that much.
We are identifying with that aspect only.
Exactly.
But that is our fault.
Unless you are a yogi.
But I'm not a god. I'm disconnected.
So
from
let
this.
it goes on, doesn't matter then.
How can I say that? Yeah, we are not disconnected. It is,
We-
we are
we-
one with them. It's somehow our enlarged body. We feel that pain also.
Yeah, we do feel pain also. Yeah, we do feel because we have identified with that aspect only. We have identified with that aspect only. In other words, we have not developed in us the full capacity of knowledge within us to see knowledge everywhere. We have not developed full capacity of bliss in us to see bliss everywhere.
Of course.
Are you saying that the mother did not feel pain?
Of course she does, because she had identified herself with the mortal.
Exactly.
Of course she does.
But that was her work.
She does. But then, no, but she has identified for what purpose?
To bring it out.
To bring it out, yes, yeah. Of course she does. Otherwise the whole purpose of avatar would be meaningless.
Yeah, but look, the whole creation until now, and probably for a long time to come still, is basically 99% pain and suffering. There is nobody has that bliss.
Yeah, that is, so we are passing through a phase.
We don't have this.
No, it means that we are passing through a phase.
Sometimes a little joy and you like it,
We are passing through a phase, it means.
but
This is,
the earth has
yeah, well, it's there, it's a phase, you see. And then Narad is, of course, very forthright. Take the hammer of the gods to break a dead resistance in the mortal's heart. His slow inertia as of living stone. It is by only hammering it, you prepare a jewelry, an ornament. Without that, it is only a piece of gold or whatever it is, you see.
But in our lifetime, it doesn't help to know.
The fact that we are living, enjoying, we are thinking around this thing, that itself is a sign of joy and progress. Maybe not very perceptible, otherwise we would not do all these things, you see. We would not participate in all these things, you see. Pain is the hammer. This is the most aphoristic kind of line in this passage. Pain is the hammer, the gauze, to break the dead resistance in a mortal's heart. Otherwise, mortal will remain only mortal, inert mass. His slow inertia. In order to break inertia, you need that hammer. And pain is serving. So pain is really a very nice thing to have if you are if you are locked in the inertia. Otherwise, how do you stir up, you see? If the heart were not forced to want and weep, his soul would have lain down content, at ease, and never thought to exceed the human start, and never learned to climb toward the sun. This is what we are. We are lazy people. We need some kind of a prod, you see, to push us forward.
Did Narad know how the concept of the sun is thought? Or that came only afterwards?
No, he has experienced that thing. Yeah, he has identified himself. He has identified himself with the dumb spirit. He has identified himself with the dumb spirit. Otherwise, he would not speak all that thing. He has identified himself with the dumb spirit. 106.5. Narad is undergoing spirituo-physical transformation. Not spirituo-physical, not physico-spiritual, but spirituo-physical transformation. He is coming from the spiritual body into a human body. He felt a sap of life, a sap of death. While he is coming down, he is an immortal. He is feeling the sap of life, a sap of death, into solid matter, dense communion. He is in communion with matter, plunging and its obscure oneness of forms. He shared with a dumb spirit identity. That is the identification he has. Therefore, he is experiencing all that thing, you see. He is speaking of that, you see. Otherwise, this is not just theory. He is experiencing all that. This earth is full of labor, packed with pain. Yes, Mr. Narad, we know this thing too well. Yeah. You don't have to come all the way to tell us this. Yeah. This earth is full of labor, packed with pain, throes of an endless birth was still. The centuries and the ages vainly pass, and yet the Godhead in her is not born. Through long periods of time, eons and eons, things have been happening, going on and on and on. He knows it. Although he sits in the paradise, he is observing the entire process of evolution and is marking out that thing because he has undergone through that process already. And yet, the Godhead in her is not born. The ancient mother faces all with joy. He says the earth is full of labor, packed with pain. And all that thing, it is that mother who is also experiencing it. The ancient mother faces all with joy. It does not mean that she does not suffer. She does not feel the pain, the anguish, the grief, the sorrow of this creation. She does. But she faces all with joy. Calls for the ardent pang, the grandiose thrill. For with pain and labor, all creation comes. Because of pain and labor, the creation comes. The labor of birth is there. That is the pain, you see. Creation comes out of that. You see. Now, this ancient mother, who is this ancient mother? Sutherland Narayana is speaking of ancient mother in the context of the earth full of labor packed with pain. In that context, you see. And he has also said few other things. Now, this phrase, the ancient mother, appears 6 times in Savitri. The ancient mother. We'll quickly see that before we proceed further. It's important. The first occurrence is 90.35. 90.35. Now, this is what Ashwapati is telling to the Divine Mother. He is bold enough to tell to the Divine Mother herself, what is this creation you have made? What are you doing there? And he says, heavy, unchained weighs still the imperfect world. The splendid youth of time has passed and failed. Heavy and long are the years our labor counts, and still the seeds are firm upon man's soul, and weary is the ancient mother's heart. It is the ancient mother who is striving for the soul of man, and she is weary that man, the soul of man, has to continue to suffer. See. The next occurrence is 102.13. Satyavan is telling to Savitri in their love conversation. 102.13. Out of the ignorant, eager toil of the years, abandoning man's loud drama, he had come, led by the wisdom of an adverse fate, to meet the ancient mother in her groves. Satyavan, he was living in a palace, but adverse fate brought him here, and he is in the company of the ancient mother. All around. We'll see what that means now. Next is 108.20. 108.20. The ancient mother faces all with joy. This is what we have got here right now, see. And the next is 131.3. 131.3. The ancient mother clutched her child to her breast, pressing her close in her environing arms, as if earth, never ever the same, could not forever keep the living spirit and body in her clasp, as if death were not there, nor end, nor change. The ancient mother clutched her child to her breast. Now, this is a very important line, in the sense that Savitri is in a nirvanic state, that even her body, physical, everything is gone. And what has remained is only the formless form. What has remained is only the formless form. She, at that point, what is it that would have brought her back to earth? She is in the nirvana. Totally, completely. She would have disappeared completely. She would have been lost to this world, to this creation, to this earth. Such liberation she has that she would have been totally lost to it. But Savitri is needed here. Savitri is needed here. She cannot disappear like that. And therefore, the ancient mother clutches her child back. She would not allow her to disappear, Savitri. This ancient mother would not allow her to disappear like that. She has to do work. She has taken a birth for a purpose. That experience is required that almost she has disappeared. She would have disappeared, but she has to come back, you see. Next is 136.8. The ancient mother offered to her child a simple word of kind, familiar thing. Savitri is coming out of a spirit after the death of Satyavan, and she is following him. And then the ancient mother is coming to picture here. 136.8. And the last one is 137.76. I will bear with him the ancient mother's load. Savitri is identifying herself with the ancient mother. I will bear with him the ancient mother's load. I will follow with him earth's path that leads to God. The ancient mother. Now, these are the 6 occurrences of the phrase ancient mother. They are purposeful. It is not just ancient like that. And in all these descriptions, the connotation, the sense, the dictionary meaning, according to Savitri, is more or less the same. In the sense that the ancient mother stands for nature who is working out things in inconscience. The mother nature who is trying to bring out things from inconscience. She is struggling, she is suffering, she is trying to take things forward all the while. She is nursing, mothering all these moments and actions, and it is she now who is here. The ancient mother faces all with joy. Obviously, she cannot say this is grief and I give up and walk away. She cannot say that. There is a joy of creation because out of that things have to happen here. That ancient mother. Ancient mother faces all with joy. She must in that sense. She cannot say, I'm sorry, I'm tired, I will walk away, I will disappear. You see, she has to do all that work, toilsome work, but with joy. Why with joy? I mean, this is a very miserable kind of work to do, very nasty thing to do, see, very tiresome, very painful also, all that thing. See. All with joy. Why with joy? Because it is her Lord who has commanded her to do that. It is in the service of the Supreme Being that she is doing whatever has got to be done here. That is the joy. That is the joy. It is painful, all right, but it is not painful for me because this has been assigned to me by my Lord. This being is there in the inconscience. He is sleeping there and he wants me to work. I can't disobey him. I will carry out his will, howsoever painful it might be, and make things move forward, you see. The joy is because of this particular, so to say, desire of the Supreme in the inconscience, which is making her do all those things. Otherwise, why should she bother? Why should she bother?